Hi guys, and welcome to episode 24 of Notable Needlework. I am Kate, Notable Needle, N-O-T-E-A-B-L-E, on Ravelry, on Plurk, and on Twitter. There is a Ravelry group for this podcast in Ravelry under Notable Needlework Podcast, I think. It is Saturday, August 13th, maybe? It has been a very productive week. I'm just gonna start with finished objects because then I can get some of them off my desk. So, I brought a lot of stuff out of hibernation this week. The first of which is the Sweet Alyssum shawl. And this is out of Malabrigo lace in the emerald blue colorway. And I used a size 4 needle because I finally got a new set of size 4 needles. As I mentioned in a previous episode, my size 4 knit picks, I had the Harmony tips, and part of the wood decided to chip off. And so I tried to fill it in with clear nail polish, but it kept snagging, so I basically stopped all of my size 4 projects. This was one of them, and so I saved it. And I like the way it turned out. Instead of doing the picot edging, I did the edging from the Oaklet shawl, and I had seen someone else's project on Ravelry where they did this, and I like it a lot better because picot edging drives me crazy. I will do it when it really, really, really looks good for the pattern, but it really didn't for this pattern. I like the way the eyelets work a lot better with the rest of the pattern. So it's very soft. I brought it with us to the movies last night, and I got to use it because the air conditioners are completely insane. But yeah, I really like the way it turned out, and I don't know if I'm keeping this or if I'm giving it to someone. Since it's wool, I'll probably wind up keeping it. Next finished object is one that I started in the middle of the week. It only took me like a day and a half to finish this, and the only reason it took that long is because my double points were actually in use with another project, which is my last finished object. So this is the lace ribbon slouch hat. I've done a version of this hat before in some acrylic, but I forgot to do the increases, so it looks funny. It's not really slouchy. This is Lion Brand Cottonese. I think the colorway is berry something. And it's going to be a Christmas present for my niece. Mind you, my niece just turned 21, so it's not like it needs to fit a child. She's an adult. But I like the way it looks. I will probably make one for me later. But at least I've got a Christmas present done. I have more than one Christmas present done. I just don't really know where they are right now. I'll find them eventually. But I like the way this turned out. I will definitely be doing this pattern again because it's super cute. Next finished object. I'm not really sure what happened with this. So, I had finished, this is the Baby's Day Out ensemble. I had finished the sweater before. It has this cute sort of ridge ribbing pattern on the bottom. So I figured I'd do the hat to go with it. And this is what was on my double points, that I had to get off the double points because I'm not going to buy a new set to finish the hat. I followed the pattern direction for this for the 6 to 9 month size. This is not a 6 to 9 month size. It said to knit it until it was 6 inches. I feel like maybe they meant 6 centimeters because this is freakishly long and I'm 90% sure that I can fit this on my head. Yeah, I can fit this on my head. Granted, it is fairly stretchy, but come on, really? Really? I don't think so. Well, it's nice to know that, you know, they can still be wearing stuff that matches their baby sweater when they're like 5. So I'm not thrilled with that, but if I have leftover yarn, I'll probably do my own version of a baby hat to go with it that will actually fit a child that will fit into this sweater. And my last finished object has nothing to do with knitting, but I wanted to show it off. The professional and the non-professional pictures, the prints came in on Thursday. So the past couple days I've just been going sort of nuts with those photos and filling up all the different photos that, or the photo frames that we got, including this one behind me. Yep, that's our invitation and that's a photo of us. Yay! I have another one on the desk, but I don't know if I can grab that one without A, doing a total cleavage shot, and B, not knocking it off the desk. So, I got to do the scrapbook. I do love this photo on the front. Sorry about the glare. It's one that my father-in-law took of our professional photographer taking pictures. I don't know if I have that particular shot in here. I have a shot of our rings that we did with the hands over each other, but this one was the hands making a heart, and that's an album cover somewhere in there, but I don't think I did a 4x6 of it. So, we have this is a story of a boy and a girl who fell in love. And I had actually printed out a really nice 5x7 of us and totally forgot that it was in there when I was designing this page, and everything was already like glued down, and then I found that 5x7. So it's slightly sparse on photos. I think I had planned for it to go down here. Oops. So he asked her to be his wife, and this is what Will said when he proposed to me, which I was essentially weeping when I was writing this down. That's us. Their wedding was a fairy tale, and I got the shots of the wedding before people were there. Oh, and I love this shot. Love it. I took this when we were going on our way to get our hair and makeup done that morning. My mom pointed it out, and I had my camera with us, so I took pictures. And this, my mom's boyfriend, who is basically my stepfather, made this entire photo board, and so it's pictures of me, pictures of Will, and then pictures of the two of us together. It's so incredible to look at, because this is like a full, you know, standing poster board full of pictures. There's pictures on the back. But I had never seen most of these pictures of Will before. It's incredible. I love it. It's currently at my mom's house, and when we go back to California to, like, live, then we're getting it, because I would be scared to death to ship that and risk having it get messed up. So they said their vows and promised, and I have Will's vows and my vows and the rings. And promised to love, to honor, and to cherish each other. And that's my littlest brother, who I love tremendously. He was the best man. Ow. Scratched myself. And that is our bridal party. That's my brother, Will, me, and Will's sister, who is I'm still calling her my maid of honor even though she's married. So she's technically a matron of honor, but I don't care. And so, with family, and that is our giant, giant photo of all of our family members. That's me and my brothers and my grandpa, who's hiding in the background. I love these photos. I really do. So with family and with friends. Oh, we have a matching photo of this from when we were all graduating, but this is the suite that Will lived in. We have a matching photo from a couple years ago, so we had to get it where everyone's standing in the same places. These are my brother's friends who crashed our wedding. Yeah, he did not tell me that he invited people. So we pulled up that extra totally not matching table and have them sitting there. And then those are all of our friends from college. I'm still in shock that they could all be there. So with family and with friends, they began their adventure together. And they lived happily ever after. I am absolutely thrilled with how the scrapbook turned out, considering I have never done anything even remotely like this before. And really, since we got the scrapbook for Christmas, and I was going to be ordering the professional pictures anyway, the printed pictures, I really only wound up spending less than $20 for the stuff I used in the scrapbook, and the majority of that was the paper cutter, which I'm going to be using for other things too. So I'm really thrilled with how little I had to spend and how well this turned out, because I've definitely seen other people's scrapbooks from their weddings who hadn't scrapbooked before, and yeah. Anyways, so those are the 9 million finished objects. This is going to be a longer episode because I got my knitting mojo back, and I've felt the need to finish everything on the needles ever. So, works in progress. I'll start with this monster that I pulled out of hibernation. This is the Baby Tree of Life Afghan. And it is a monster. The actual blanket of this took me maybe a week. It was actually a pretty quick knit for the amount of detail work in this, which I do love. It is this infernal border that is driving me crazy. I think I figured I have 5 or 6 more petals to do, because I just have the last short edge to go. But you knit these petals separately, and then you crochet them on, or at least I'm crocheting them on, because I don't like sewing. But it's taking forever. Like, literally. I remember first starting this border when we were rewatching Lost on Netflix. We watched all 6 seasons of Lost, and I hadn't finished this stupid border yet. Granted, I wasn't working on it the entire time we were watching, but really? It was like a couple months, and it just drives me crazy. I've gotten to the point where I can read the lace pattern well enough that I don't have to keep looking at the patterns, but I thought that I was going to get whiplash because I would do a row, look over to the pattern, look back. It actually made my neck hurt. So I either know how to do the pattern well enough now, or I've just made up my own version of it. And the thing is, it's really pretty. It really is. I just don't think it's worth all this. If I were going to do this again, I would incorporate just the garter stitch into it, make it the border, not have to do anything else once you finish those last rows of garter stitch. Because this is slightly ridiculous. And the fact that you have these loops for the flower garden, whatever, you're not actually going to be giving this to a baby to, like, play with. You're going to hang it on the wall. So I really don't think that it's worth it to have this insane border. But I'm almost done. I'm going to try and get as much of this done as possible this weekend. Because I start nursing school on Monday. I'll talk about that in a sec. But I'm super excited for that. So this is one of my works in progress. My other two, one is sort of in hibernation until at least Monday. I'll talk about that one first. It is my stethoscope cozy. Oh, I didn't bring it in here. Okay, basically stethoscope cozy is going over the tubing of my stethoscope, which I'm picking up on Monday. So I can't measure how long it is with how long the tubing is, and nowhere online does it say how long the tubing is. Like, just the tubing, it says the entire thing. I have, I think, about 18 inches, and the pattern says 18 to 20 depending on your stethoscope. So I'm stopping at 18, and on Monday I'll measure it. I had 8 inches done. And then we went yesterday to see Pirates of the Caribbean 4 at the Dollar Theater. And I discovered that I can do stockinette in the round in the dark without having to look at it. So I got 10 inches of stockinette around and around all done. Which is good to know. Next time we go see a movie that doesn't completely require me to be engrossed, then I'll have to bring something else like that I can bring. Anyways, my other work in progress is, I brought these out of hibernation. They are the Super Awesome Socks. They are for my brother-in-law for Christmas because they're rainbow and they're awesome. These are my first ever toe-up socks and my first ever afterthought heel. The reason the heel is in, and I'm still working on the cuff, is because I had done the ribbing, but I only did it with this purple section. And I cast off, and it kept like doing this weird flip thing, and it just looked awful. So I picked up the stitches for the afterthought heel. I did the afterthought heel, and then I came back up here, ripped out the cuff, reattached the next section of the colors because it's self-striping yarn. Oh, there goes one of my needles. Self-striping yarn. It is Knit Picks Felici in the rainbow colorway. Self-striping. So I picked up the last section of the yarn that does the full repeat because I want to end on the red. So I'm doing this cuff with the entire series of color again. But since it's ribbed, it's a lot shorter than the stockinette section. But I'm going to redo that once I get up to the red. I'll do a couple rows and then cast off and the first sock should be done. I really like how it's turning out. My brother-in-law has size, I think, 11.5 feet. I have size 10 women's, which is 8. 8 men's, and my husband has size 9.5 men's. And they actually were kind of close to fitting him, but obviously too loose. So I think that they'll fit my brother-in-law perfectly. I'm gonna try and find someone with size 11.5 or at least 11 feet and see if this will fit them once I cast off. And I'm just trying to figure out if I know someone with size 11.5 feet that I actually feel comfortable enough saying, will you put on this sock for me? And not sounding like a total creep. But I really do love how these are turning out. If they weren't so big, I would probably just be keeping them for myself. I may have to get more of this yarn and make a set of like thigh highs for myself. Because I'll be doing a smaller foot, obviously, not as many stitches, so I'll be able to get more length out of it, which I am excited about. I'll have to finish this second sock first, though. But yeah, and I think that is my only other work in progress right now, because everything else is either in actual hibernation or has been finished. I'm not really going to start anything new, though. Oh, I do have one other work in progress, which has nothing to do with knitting, and that is the tree skirt. Tree skirt of doom. So, I still have, I think I had finished the swans last time I talked. Yeah, so I finished the geese, the swans, and I finished the 8 Maids of Milking. I think I showed her in progress. But this really is not a practical outfit to be milking in. Just gotta say that. And now I am working on the 9 Ladies Dancing. Yeah, she doesn't have a face right now. It's, oh, it just fell into my lap. Come here, you. So that's her little face. And I'm working on finishing the embroidery, and then that will go up here. And she's got more hair going up in her dress and everything. But that has been sort of put on hold while I try and finish up that infernal blanket. So now that's actually it for work in progress. I know, I've just been doing everything recently. So now I want to talk about the amazing windfall of stuff that I've gotten recently. So first off is my yarn for Camp Loopy project number 3, which has to be at least 800 yards. This is more than 1,400 yards of lace weight. It's 1,460 yards for 100 grams. I am planning on doing the Vernal Equinox shawl, which I will link to in the show notes. But this stuff is so soft. I am absolutely thrilled with doing it. The Vernal Equinox shawl calls for, I think, around 900 yards, which, since it has to be at least 800 yards, I wanted to make sure that I would actually get 800 yards. I tend to use less yardage than is typically called for in the pattern. So what I think I'm going to do with this is, since I know it's 1,400 yards to 100 grams, is figure out how many grams is 800 yards and wind this into 2 balls, one of which has 800 yards, the other has, 660? So that I will have to completely finish that first ball, and then I will know no matter what past that point, I have at least 800 yards that I've done, so it counts. Because this ain't all gonna fit on, on one ball. I mean, I suppose it could, but I don't think my ball winder would enjoy that very much. But this is either Barufa or Lane Bergosisa? Hell if I know. On Ravelry, it's the Barufa, casual, and then on Loopy U, it's the Lane Borgosesa. I don't know how to pronounce that. But yeah, I think this colorway was just called Red, which pretty much sums up what it is. There's not that many colors of the casual. I think this is just called Red. They have like pink, white. Yeah. My next couple things were gifts, which I'm so incredibly grateful for. One of which is from one of my friends in the area. I went over to her house and we were watching movies and hanging out, whatever, and she said, you do, I mean, she knows that I do lace knitting, and so she's like, I have this yarn that someone gave to me that I think they got from someone else. Would you be able to use it? Like, I'm gonna turn down free yarn. So I have 2 balls of this essentially mystery yarn. I mean, it has the label. It's called Carpi. And it is high fashion. It's 55% mohair, 35% wool, 10% nylon, made in Italy. And it does not say how many yards it is, it just says that it's 40 grams. I have been looking on Ravelry, on Yarndex, on just the basic internet. I have no idea how many yards are in these. I can't find any record that this yarn actually exists. So if you know about this yarn, I really would just love to know how many yards are in it, because I don't really want to completely unwind these to figure it out. The labels actually feel really gross. The yarn itself feels great, but the paper feels kind of disgusting, like greasy almost. So I'll figure out something to do with these, but they're cool, they're pretty. It's got a nice little halo because of the mohair. And it's, I don't know. The weight system I feel always gets messed up when you have something like this with like a significant halo. Because I think eyelash yarn is like considered bulky or something. I don't know. But the actual yarn underneath the halo feels kind of like a heavy lace weight. Like thicker than usual. Maybe a really light fingering. So I have no idea. This will probably be like a scarf or something like that. Where it doesn't have to be exact and the halo will be appreciated. So that's that. The second thing, which I am so flippin' thrilled about. So on Monday, trying to get everything out of here that's not supposed to be in here. So on Monday, I came home to this in my mailbox. Do you see that return address? From Highland Handmaids. Now, I knew that I had not ordered anything from Heather. I have a custom order that I think is supposed to be done and up in next week's shop update. But I knew that she wasn't just going to send it to me because I haven't paid her yet. So I was trying to figure out what on earth was going to be in this bag. I'm doing this not in the order that I actually found these, because Heather had to tell me that there was a note in the top of the bag because I couldn't find it. So, it says, this package is a gift to you from 2 knitters/plurkers who wanted to congratulate you on your wedding. The yarn is from JetGirl1313, who is Katie from Knittin' on the Fly, who says congratulations. She saw on one of my plurks that you liked the colors of this yarn and snapped it up for you. And the gift certificate is from Mary, who says, I just wanted to give you best wishes for the future. And then it says, you know, how the gift certificate works. Congrats again on your wedding. I wish you all the best. From Heather. This is what I found. So obviously, gift certificate. Super flipping generous. I have not decided what this is going towards yet. Since the custom yarn was supposed to be a birthday present, I'm feeling like this should go towards something else. I'm not sure if my husband's going to agree with me on that. But this is what Katie sent me. It's the Brights Rainbow colorway in the, I think it's the sugar maple sock. Yeah, sugar maple, not the silver maple. Holy crap. This is so freaking awesome. And I don't even remember saying that I love the colors for this. That's the funny thing. I think I say that I love the colors for all of Heather's things, because I do, because she's an amazing dyer. But holy crap, these are awesome. Katie, you are so flippin' awesome. And to pay back the karma, I'm doing something else in a sec. But after I got this, I was staring at it for a couple days going, what am I going to make out of these that will do the color justice? Because I love sock yarn, and I love colorful sock yarn, but I feel like this awesomeness should not be wasted on my feet. It would not be wasted on my feet, but since I have to wear white colored or black colored socks when I'm in the lab and I otherwise don't really wear socks, I feel like that's a waste for me. And this is going to be for me because this yarn is awesome. So I was looking at the colors and I was sort of asking Will what he thought that I should do. And so I just had it out on the table. Well, no, I had it sort of in the box like, or in the bag like this, so I could see the colors, but the cats wouldn't try and start playing with it. So I was staring at it, and I forget exactly what Will said, but he said something along the lines of, why don't you combine it with something else so that it tones it down a little bit? Not tones it down, but one, I guess, stretches it out, and two, doesn't make it look so, bam, look at me. So I started thinking about two color patterns. What I thought about was Daybreak, because everyone and their mother has been knitting it, and I figured that with the stripes, with this in a neutral color, would look amazing. So I went and I looked at the Daybreak pattern, and then I saw that it was $6. Then I actually started looking at the finished pictures of Daybreak, and I figured out in about 5 minutes exactly how to do the pattern. I don't understand why it's $6 for something that I figured out in about 5 minutes. Anyways, so needless to say, I will be designing my own shawl pattern. Will actually came up with the idea for, it's kind of like Daybreak, but it's going to be fairly different. You won't be confused. Well, if you were looking at it from afar, you might confuse it with the Daybreak, but when you look at it up close, you will not be confusing it for a Daybreak, because it is going to be very different. And I will probably be working on that starting in September, because this puppy starts on Monday, and I have to get it done ASAP because the Plurk Podcaster Challenge starts at the beginning of September. So essentially, I have like 2 weeks to finish this. I have 4, but I want to finish it before that, or at least get at least 2/3 to 3/4 done, because I don't think the Plurk Podcaster Challenge pattern is going to be something super, super difficult. I know it's not socks, it's not a shawl, and it's not something ginormous like a sweater. I think it's probably going to be, you know, hats, scarves, other things. So the Plurk Podcaster Challenge, you can check the YouTube video or post on the blog about all of the rules, or you can listen to anyone else's podcast. But it starts on September 2nd is when I can start showing you the pattern and working on the pattern, and then it has to be done by the end of September. So I am looking forward to seeing what that is. I'll talk about that in a sec. But anyways, I love this yarn, and I'm just going to keep looking at this yarn forever. Will and I are planning on going to our 2 local yarn shops, taking this with us, because obviously I didn't like steal this from the store because they don't carry Highland Handmaids. Maybe after they see this they will. So Heather, I hope that this gets you more business, because I have a see-through bag. I'm just going to be carrying this in my bag and waiting for people to ask what it is. But they each have basically a cascade wall, and so I'll just be holding this up against the different colors. Will is thinking like a black, but I'm worried that the black might make it pop too much. I'm leaning towards probably like a charcoal gray, which I think will look very, very pretty with this. Or possibly a dark blue. We'll see. I will let you know. But I probably won't be buying the yarn for that until at least September. And I won't be working on it till at least like the end of September. Probably beginning of October. So yeah, something to look forward to. But Katie, I flip and love it. Katie is also in the Plurk Podcaster Challenge, and I talked about the Mother Bear optional challenge part of that. So I looked more closely at both the pattern and the rules for the contest, because all I saw were, you know, win a pair of signature needles. But that's for the person who has the most bears done in their knit-along. Which, quite frankly, for some of us podcasters, really isn't fair at all. Just saying, there are other podcasts with, you know, 500 plus members in their group. I have 21 as of this morning. There's no way in hell that even if every single one of my members does it for me, which isn't going to happen because most of them are other podcasters, it's just not an option. Plus, I don't think that I would be able to do the shawl, the Plurk Podcaster Challenge, and this. I don't really have a lot of scrap yarn. I don't have a big stash. I can't afford a big stash at all. Most of my yarn is given to me, so I don't have the yarn or, quite frankly, the time to do this. So what I am doing, to thank Katie for her generosity, she is doing a knit-along in her group, and she has closer to, I think, 400 members. So anyone who watches this, who wants to do this, this is an excellent cause. And if you have the time to do it, I will probably be getting another pattern probably after the challenge is done and do them then. But it's just not an option for me right now. So she already had the pattern for her, and she got a free pattern to give to one of her viewers. She now will have 2 free patterns to give to her viewers, and anyone who is watching this who wants to knit a bear, do it for Katie. Because it's the 2 Katies in the Podcaster Challenge uniting. So go over to her group, join if you haven't already, and let's make some bears, because excuse me. Because quite frankly, the challenges where you have to have the most of something really aren't fair to people like me, to people like Becca, who have, you know, fewer than 50 members in their group. I don't really know how they determined that that was okay. But whatever. Doesn't matter, because there are other ones that we actually have shots for. Like the most altered pattern, which I will probably be doing. So, yeah. It's the, Make a Bear... the Mother Bear Project. You can find it at motherbearproject.org, I think. Yeah, motherbearproject.org. And it's making these knitted or crocheted bears and giving them to children affected by HIV and AIDS. They don't necessarily have HIV and AIDS, but they may have lost both of their parents. They may have it. But it is an excellent cause. And I think something like 66,000 bears have been made so far. So yeah, you should definitely do this. Even if it's not till after the challenge, it's for a really good cause. And I will be doing this sometime after the challenge. Maybe after the challenge I'll organize a knit along with this. But it won't be for a little bit. Oh my god, this is a long episode. There's too many things to talk about. Okay, last thing is I wanted to share the wonder of the ChiaoGoo needles. So, I got my first pair of the red lace circulars, and I have one in the package because I ordered my second pair after one day of using these. That's how I finished the Sweet Allison shawl so quickly, by the way, is because I was using these babies. So this is what they look like, and these are size 8s, and they're going to be for my Camp Loopy shawl. But it is the ChiaoGoo red lace circulars. There is a shop on Etsy called Grandma's Hand Knitting, and I will link to her in the show notes, but that's pretty much the only place I know where you can get these. Some local yarn stores carry them, mine do not. She actually has the straight ChiaoGoos. I'm gonna talk to her about carrying these, because that would be awesome, and not having to pay for shipping. But they're amazing. Literally. Okay. Look at the cable. There is no memory. None. None. It's... seriously. Like, I used to think that the Knit Picks cables didn't have any memory. It's awesome. It's basically like holding a bicycle cable. It looks like right now. It's basically like holding a bicycle cable. It sort of feels the same. I love the tips. The only thing that I'm not completely in love with is not specifically the join, but further up on the join. See, if you want to focus, you can kind of see it. Not the join. The join is just fine. But this is like a legitimate step between the needle and the join. It can catch sometimes, not when you're knitting, but when you're pushing stitches back up the cable to start working them. It can catch a little bit, but not enough for me to not buy another pair. So, these are amazing. I love them. You should go try them out. I am very much looking forward to using these for the Camp Loopy project, because I think that they're going to be amazing. And that is about it, and I'm at 45 minutes. I did not... Okay, to be fair, I had like 9 million things to talk about, but next week will be a shorter episode. The very last thing is in other news, which is I start nursing school on Monday, which is in 2 days. I am so excited. To prove how excited, I went back to school shopping. I didn't really need a lot of stuff, so I pretty much just got these. They are little spiral band notebooks, they're 4x6, so they fit into the pocket of my scrubs, and they're actually really thin. There's 5 of these in this one little packet. I think the packet was like $2 or $3. But it's to carry around with me for clinical and possibly lab, to make notes in and all that fun stuff. So I am looking forward to using these and finally getting my schedule. I have my little show notes here, and I did have one other thing to talk about, which I will do very quickly. So I went to one of the Claremont colleges when I was an undergrad. This came up because of an email that I got the other day from Victoria's Secret announcing the new colleges for their collegiate line, which if you haven't seen before, they have, sweatshirts, sweatpants, I think some underwear with different schools' names on them. So if you're shopping in Los Angeles, they have UCLA and they have, USC, whatever. Down here they have Auburn and Alabama. Duh. Who doesn't? But the reason that strikes me as so flippin' hilarious is because Harvey Mudd College, which I basically consider myself an alumna of because I spent probably more time on Harvey Mudd campus than I did on Scripps, and because I married a Mudder, and all of our friends are Mudders. I was basically there more than Scripps. When I was a junior, so like 2008, 2009, one of my friends decided that it would be fun to hack into the Victoria's Secret website. What they do for the college line is they open an online vote, and the top, it's either 5 or 10 schools got their college put onto like the next incoming class or whatever they call it of the sweatshirts. So they decided that they were going to hack into this program. And at first it was to make, Mudd, Scripps, Pitzer, Pomona, Claremont, McKenna be the top 5. Then they decided to have a little bit of fun with that. I will be posting photos in the show notes, so if you're watching this on iTunes, go over to the blog and check it out because, yeah. I was sure to take screenshots of certain things that happened. I'm not going to tell you exactly what happened. Suffice it to say, Caltech is the California Institute of Technology, which is one of our bitter rivals. It's Harvey Mudd, MIT, and Caltech. And we have an ongoing prank war. So keep that in mind when you look at it, and I'll put other little notes by the pictures so that you'll be able to see what exactly I find so flippin' hilarious about this. Yeah, I'm not going to say anymore because you have to go and look at the blog to see what I'm talking about. Anyways, I'm at 50 minutes. I'm going to shut up now. I hope that you're having as good of a week as I am. And hopefully I'll have all sorts of nursing stuff to talk about. I may record a short episode on Monday after orientation because I think I'm going to explode if I don't. So have a good week, and I look forward to talking to you next week. And go join Katie's group, Knitting on the Fly, and make some bears for her. Woo! Bye.